recording. So welcome everybody to our free webinar on the 5 mistakes that most people make when it comes to nutrition, whether it's conscious or unconscious. Okay, can everybody, I can see your pictures. I'm going to go ahead and play my slides. There we go. Can everybody see the presentation? Yes, I see nodding. Okay, cool.
Yep.
I forgot I had everybody mute. Okay, so I really want to do this webinar because I as well as Tim get this, very frequent questions over and over about the mistakes, or what do I do for nutrition? What am I doing wrong? Why am I plateauing? I don't know why. I'm doing everything that you're telling me to do, and I'm not seeing results. So that was our goal in really getting this webinar together, and maybe provide you with some future steps to breaking your plateau or getting to your ultimate fitness goals. So for those that don't know who we are, I am Liz Davis, founder, CEO of Liz Davis Fitness, and also the lifestyle brand for women, Momaletics. I have a master's in exercise physiology, certified through the American College of Sports Medicine, and all that fun stuff. Tim is your master's in public health, also ACSM certified. He's a head coach and founder of Team Fitness and Fitness 413, growing exponentially with a team of figure, bikini, bodybuilding competitors, not just the ones that want to step on stage, but people who want to change their overall lifestyle, and he calls them, and we call them, our life competitors. They just want to get into the best shape possible. So Tim and I met in the corporate world, and it was, tooth and nail, and we were trying to help people, and we found that in the corporate world, it wasn't the best way that we could help as many people as possible. So we both founded our own fitness businesses, and Tim has trained me for multiple figure competitions on the most awesome team ever, Team Fitness, if I didn't say that already. So that's a little bit about who we are. And both of our brands aim to educate, motivate, inspire, and help reach as many people as possible so that they can attain their best physical, spiritual, emotional, and even financial potential. We both believe that these things are limitless if you have the work ethic to get there and you have the desire, and you don't want to settle for mediocrity. Our goal with both of our brands and our businesses is to dispel myths and inform of the facts behind exercise and nutrition, and I like to call it science versus tradition, or bro science. Okay, so hopping right into the 5 mistakes most people make with their nutrition. The first one is you're consuming the wrong amount of calories. I have a lot of clients come to me and say, well, I'm following this 1,200 calorie plan because MyFitnessPal told me to. I'm following the XYZ diet. And I said, well, how many calories are you consuming? And they say they'll either know it or they don't, or they're following a blanket calorie amount and they have no why or theory behind it. So you really need to find either a dietitian or a coach or somebody that's educated thoroughly in the background of nutritional sciences, and trial and error how many calories you need to consume. You can find out how many calories your body burns at rest throughout the day by going to an exercise physiology lab at most major universities. And they do what's called a BMR, basal metabolic rate test. It's a little unrealistic because they are very expensive, and to find a university near you that has people to do these tests is pretty rare. So the best way to do it is to, again, work with an educated professional who can take into account your lifestyle, your height, your weight, just you as a person, and trial and error around what you're doing now. You may need to increase calories. You may need to significantly decrease calories. You may need to even find out how many calories you're consuming. So consuming the wrong amount of calories is one of the biggest mistakes that people make. Oh, let me go back to that for a second. Tim, any experience or anything you can add to that when people come to you for figuring out or logging calories?
Right. I think those are really good points. Just being aware of actually where you are and not necessarily following some sort of cookie cutter approach to caloric intake is really important. So I think those are really great points. Yeah.
Okay, cool. just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm trying to, I don't know if you guys can see the screens on the side. I'm trying to find a way to minimize that. Can you guys see the screens of people on the side, or is that just me?
I can.
You can?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let me see. Well, I can't figure it out right now, so moving on. Okay, second thing is you don't track calories, bouncing off that first one, or measure your food, / you overindulge in healthy and nutritious foods. This is a very common one, something I see all over the internet. I eat a ton of fruit. Well, how much fruit do you eat per day? Well, I don't know. You know, it's healthy, so I don't count or measure how much fruit I have. Well, that's fine and dandy, but if you're trying to figure out what caloric level your body loses weight at, you need to know every single calorie that goes into your body. You have to measure it forever? No, but you have to get a baseline, especially when starting out. I actually was under eating my protein for my very first competition, and when Tim said 4 to 6 ounces or whatever it was at that time, I did the DEFA carbs method, and when I actually went and got a food scale, I was consuming only about 2 ounces of chicken or beef or whatever it was, and I was under eating. So, you know, you have to know exactly what you are consuming when first starting out. And I do love Weight Watchers, but when they were doing the whole 3-point system, it drove me nuts, because food is food, and if it has calories in it, you can overdo it on broccoli just as much as you can overdo it on fries. Is it very likely? Because most of us like fries better than broccoli? Probably not. But calories are calories. So while there are more nutritious calories and less nutritious calories, I hate labeling foods good and bad, because in my experience with bulimia, it leads to binging on those quote bad foods. So I say nutritious or less nutritious foods. You can certainly overindulge in the more nutritious foods. So yeah, get yourself a food scale. You can find them on Amazon or in Target or Walmart. They're really cheap. You don't need a nice fancy digital one. Anything really that tells you the amount of ounces in meat is perfectly fine. Measure out your liquids was another thing. I used to eyeball how much creamer, or not even creamer, even just almond milk when I switched to clean eating. And I was doing way more than I thought the splash that I was pouring in was. So measure out your liquids as well. Okay, you overkill it in the gym and you do not consume enough calories in an attempt to diet down. At first, this may work for you. You may exercise for hours in the gym and lose weight. It may work once and it may work twice, but if you do this chronically over time, and I'm talking a couple of years on and off, you're going to seriously stress all of the major endocrine systems, or all of the major hormones within the endocrine system. You're going to throw them all out of whack. Your adrenals are going to fatigue. Your thyroid is going to be like, what the heck are you doing to me? And you're not going to be able to lose weight after a while, because your body is going to realize, oh, I remember this. I need to conserve energy. So it stores everything you eat as that instead of burning it for energy throughout the day. Tim, do you have any experience with this? People who came to you, I know this is very common in the competitive world, where they're eating like under 1,000 calories and hours of exercise.
Definitely. I think in the competitor world, we refer mainly to it as metabolic damage. You hear a lot of people talk about it in those terms, but just in sort of just your layperson, as it were, we'll say the starvation mode that the body enters in, where you get to that point to where it seems like no matter what you do, everything that you eat, your body will store it, because it, like you said, it remembers. It has that memory of, I need to conserve this because of the strenuous amounts of activity that I'm used to. So, yeah, and I mean, you see it, and it's very common. So, and it really ties back into the points that you made so far, understanding where we're at in terms of, the calories we're getting in, looking at the BMR, which is very important, which I don't even think a lot of people understand what that is, that basal metabolic rate, factoring that into how many calories you need. And then based on that, coming up with a plan that's going to be specific for you, to help you with really seeing continued weight loss, if that is specifically your goal.
Right. Exactly. Great point. And I know we've both also seen the opposite end where people are using heart rate monitors, and really a lot of times they tend to overestimate. I mean, it's a good ballpark, but a lot of times another mistake, I guess we could add in a 6 here. But they overestimate, their heart rate monitor overestimates the amount of calories they're actually burning. So they're like, oh, well, I'll just eat this extra cupcake because I have a bank of calories. Let me eat them back. And they wind up overeating what they actually needed because the exercise wasn't as intense. And you'll see this in a lot of group fitness classes. I see this in my Zumba class. I don't burn nearly as many calories as my heart rate monitor says, because when you do a lot of upper body movements and upper body, the upper body's involved, you will drive your heart rate up, but many studies have shown that it doesn't correlate when it's upper body movement. The calorie expenditure doesn't correlate to that increased heart rate. So a lot of the monitors wind up being then wrong when people are doing a lot of these group fitness classes. So not that they're bad, they're awesome, and I love teaching them, but you also have overkill in the gym and under eating, and then you have average eating, but overestimating how much you're burning throughout the day. It'd be nice if we were actually burning that many calories, but that was one issue I was personally having, so I like to share that as well. Oh, see, this is one of the only reasons I'd ever move back to New York is because they require the calories on every single restaurant to be on the menu. And it doesn't matter if it's a chain, not a chain, the calories are there. And it's kind of depressing when I go home and go out to eat with my parents, but it is very eye-opening, and I really do like that they have it on there because if I don't know them and I don't look them up, I will choose something that looks healthy, like tuna on a salad, and just be completely ignorant to how they make that tuna on a bed of lettuce, and just say, oh, this is healthy. So when you're out to eat, you really do your research ahead of time, whether it be look at the restaurant's website or look the food up, or the restaurant up rather, in MyFitnessPal. They have a huge database, and most restaurants are in there. Even local chains I've found in there have put their foods in there. Don't just assume because it's a salad or because it's grilled chicken that it is lower in calorie or healthier for you, because a lot of the grilled chicken, they do douse in oils and spices and things like that, so lots of sodium. So Tim, if you don't mind, would you share some of the things that you told me and that you share with our team, that if they, want to go out to eat, what you'd recommend, like asking questions or ways to order?
Definitely. And I think it really depends upon how strict you are looking to be with your nutrition plan. For example, if someone's getting ready for a competition, if they're just, let's say maybe a couple weeks out, and we're really monitoring their sodium intake and then the specific types of fats they're taking in, then if they're out to eat, we would have them ask for, what types of oils are the foods prepared in? How are they prepared? Any additional sauces or rubs that they'll have on the particular foods. So there's quite a bit that we actually ask. And I mean, even if you're not getting prepared for a competition, but you always want to ask what comes with it. Is it extra, is it cheese? I mean, when I go out to eat, I'm that guy that alters. It's annoying, but because I want to make sure that the food is going to be as healthy as I can get it. So if it's okay, I don't want cheese on it. If it comes with cheese, or I don't want the dressing to be included in it. You can put it on the side, but then I would only want it if it's a vinegar based, for example. So there's quite a few things, and even asking for different types of breads. I mean, I think sometimes people just accept that the bun or bread that it comes with is the only option. Yeah. Well, a lot of times you'll see there are a variety of options, and a lot of restaurants now even go with the lettuce bun as an option. Yeah. So there's quite a few things to ask when you're talking about eating healthier when eating out.
Yeah, definitely. And what I was just thinking as I'm hearing you talk, it's not just important for people really getting ready for a show, but I know that right before I started prepping for my first show with you, I was really trying to lose the baby weight, and ignorance is bliss, right? So I figured something was healthy, and even though I knew better and I should look it up, I didn't. And my weight was not going anywhere, and it's because the calories were way more than I guesstimated them to be. And when you're starting your weight loss journey, right, you really need to get into that caloric deficit or figure out where that caloric deficit occurs. which simply means your body is burning more than you're taking in. And you can't do that if you're ignorant to how much you're actually taking in. So, so many people who are just starting out on their weight loss journey and trying to shape up and get into as ideal of health as possible really need to know what they're putting in their body. So really investigate those restaurants or go eat in New York. So the fifth one, okay, and this is really near and dear to me because I used to work, well, I put myself through college between scholarship and working at a supplement store. And half the time, I'd say 40% of the stuff that's on shelves is just unnecessary. So the fifth mistake people make is just buying supplements that are blindly buying them blindly based on recommendations from well-meaning friends, family, colleagues, or the not so well-meaning GNC employee who works primarily on commission. You know, you really have to find someone who believes in and stands behind and is educated in the field of supplements. And there are very few that are actually researched, and there are even fewer that are regulated. So do you need to supplement with things? If you ate a perfect diet and you got all the nutrients from the foods you ate, and all the foods hadn't been, you know, cleaned with pesticides, yada, 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 yada. No, you could technically, if you got all your servings of fruits and vegetables and all organic meats and blah, 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 everything was, you could say without a doubt, 110% all your food was unprocessed. No, for optimal health, not really. But if you want to get that extra edge, if you want to get a jump start on your weight loss, there are certain products that we would recommend, hands down, without a doubt, that are safe and effective. It just depends on you and your goals. That's another thing. There could be, I remember working at Vitamin World, and there were certain focus items that would get you and the store a higher commission for that month, and that's what corporate was looking at. So they pushed those over others just for that certain month, and it didn't matter if that person walked in there looking for a face cream or not. They were going to try and sell them something for their brain or what have you. So you really have to go into this with a plan from, again, just like you would go to a dietitian or a nutritionist or somebody, a doctor, educated on finding you a meal plan. You need to go to someone who's educated in the field of supplements and isn't going to, oh, why did that close? Sorry, guys. Isn't going to give you all this blah word vomit just for the sake of pleasing their corporate. What was I going to say? So yeah, with that, questions before we move into anything else? Questions? Anything? Anybody hop on that I didn't catch? Might have a question. Lynette, are you talking? Oh, I thought she was saying something. You're on.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm on my phone. I can figure it out. So can you tell me the exact difference between the whey and the casein or whatever it is?
And the other proteins?
Yeah, what? The whey and what? Casein, they're two different things, right?
Well, casein is a type of protein that is found primarily in dairy sources, and it's a slower digesting protein, and that's pretty much the extent of what I know on it. Tim, do you know more on casein versus whey?
Yeah, that's exactly it. They're both milk derived, but that the whey protein is a much quicker absorbing protein, and the casein, just based on the way it's formed, it's, you know, it actually breaks down slower in the body.
So you'd want, go ahead.
Which one? Yes. How do you decide?
Oh, well, you want to take, they're both for different, not times a day, but I guess goals. So right after your workout, when you tax your body, you want the quickest absorbing to help repair the muscles and help them grow. So you're going to want the whey because it's fast digesting and absorbing. And then the casein, when you're sleeping. See, you know, I'll do, if I don't feel like doing a casein shake or, you know, I like to make casein pudding. If I don't feel like doing that, I'll do something like fat-free cottage cheese, which has casein protein in it. something like that before bed, because you are going so long without eating that you go into a short-term fasted state. So you want something that's slow releasing into the muscles, so that you prevent muscle wasting overnight. Tim, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that's good. The only other thing that I've been telling competitors recently is that the whey, because it is so fast in its absorption rate, is that it also carries along with it sort of a spike in insulin, a spike in your blood sugar. So you'll have people of increasing your carbohydrates directly after exercise, and so they'll down a whole bunch of bread and pasta and rice and all this, when actually they'll be able to benefit just from taking whey protein alone right after their exercise. And then with the casein protein, it's something that we really recommend for people right before bed, people who actually are looking to gain muscle. So I really recommend that for people that are looking to bulk up in a healthy way, is to do a lot more of the casein protein in addition to the whey right after activity.
Yeah, and what I'll do, Lynette, I will put like a casein protein powder, maybe half a scoop or scoop, mixed with a little bit of fat-free cottage cheese and a little bit, it sounds gross, but a little bit of a nut butter. And the healthy fats also help slow the digestion throughout the night. I do it like an hour or two before bed. I don't do it like right before bed, just because of my indigestion issues. You're getting old when, ... But I do more of like a pudding, because sometimes I just get so tired of shakes and I want something sweet, which I know a lot of us, especially girls, we have that nighttime sweet tooth. So I make a little pudding or ice cream out of it with those types of things. Any others? That's a good question. If you are somebody who has questions on supplements, feel free, if you don't want to comment on here, to shoot them over with us. You have to go based on your goals, obviously, and that's what Tim and I do. So, we're here for you. Just shoot us an email if you have any questions on that stuff, or you want to set up a one-on-one call, and we can give you options. We both do virtual boot camps. Tim obviously has Team Fitness, which is more of a full-time commitment, but we have 3-week virtual boot camps, so you can get a taste of what the, Team Fitness is, and its nutrition, meal planning, supplement recommendations based on goals and individual, I should say, workouts and daily motivation, and run them 3 weeks at a time. And then obviously, if this is something you really enjoy, Tim's team, our team, I should say, as I am team member for just about 2 years now, is something that's long-term and going forward. So if you have any questions at all, send me an email. If you'd like to talk to Tim, I will forward his email to you. And yeah, any last questions before we close? Anything on nutrition or supplements in general? Negative. All right, Tim, anything you want to add before we close?
No, I think it was a really good and concise presentation. Really hit some good points, and I just hope that it will be beneficial to everyone who is either live or listens to it, the recording. So.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for your input. And thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. Again, if you need any help going forward in detailed planning, let us know, and we can certainly help you with that. So thank you again, and have a wonderful night.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.